The previous paradigm concerning housing for the homeless was that they needed to be housing ready. That meant they needed to be clean, dry, and sober. Basically, they had to get their life in good shape, then you could put them into housing. So they could live there, they wouldn't damage the housing, etc. So that had been the model for a long time. Then the Housing First concept started in New York City by Dr. Samson Barris, and they worked with street people who were mentally ill. And so they went out and they started asking them, what it is that you want? And they said, we need housing. He said, well, no, we don't do housing. We do mental health treatments. And yet they asked many more. They said, we want housing. So they finally said, well, okay, let's give it a try. So they took the risk and took some severely mentally ill folks off the street and put them into apartments. And then they visited them on a regular basis. And so they learned, after experimenting with that for a while, they made some mistakes, or they learned some things. It didn't go as well as they planned, but then as the process went along, they came to realize that within 12 months, 85% would still be housed when they took them straight off the street and put them into housing, and then brought the case management to their house, to their unit, and worked with them. So this became the new model of housing first, because when people have safety and security and a place to stay, have an address, then they can begin to look at other issues they can deal with. So that became the model. We heard about it, had Samson Barris come out and teach us about it, then we implemented it here in Utah.